Hello, hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. I'm coming in just to give you a short video today. It's a flip through of this and a flip through of this, and I'm going to show you how I finished off the little Babushka dolls. Now I got back in there with that one little small snowflake and kind of filled in. And I think it really did help. Now these were the two that were the fold outs. Now these will probably be an easier version for you to make if you didn't want to get into the concept of the journal. And they fold into themselves just like a regular babushka doll. But I did her little small stampings, and then I don't know if I showed you the silver one, but I really like how that green and that silver came off against this color. That one got the trees. They look like they're blowing in the wind. They're a little crooked. These are just going to my sister and my niece. The big one goes to my mom. And this one is in the red. And then the green looks good with that silver embossing as well. These trees aren't blowing. And you can see the candles a whole lot better with that one. But one of them, I went and kind of stenciled the back. But, yeah, that one. So I figured I'll just write on the back of them in white gel pen. And I'll put the tradition of the babushka dolls, the nesting dolls, on the in the envelope with them. So this is just where I put two eyelets, or brads, I'm sorry. There's gold on this paper, so I thought those went really good. But it's just glued down. I didn't go through the back at all with it, because I already had some stuff glued down. I didn't want to disturb it. So I just glued that on there with some fabric tack, and it's doing very good. This is a catch-all journal. Okay, so it's got all of the mixed match stuff that's been sent to me, or a few scraps that were left over, and things I had stamped out and didn't use, that type of thing. It's got two Velcro dots here to hold it shut. I actually made, it's actually a 6x6, or 12, a 12-inch that I cut down to 9. And I actually made, is that a half of an inch? Yeah, I made a half of an inch border on it because I made it a small hidden signature inside, because I had a really big signature and I just felt like I wanted to do it that way. Let me get this one out of the way and we'll come in here with this one. Of course, you see a calendar page here. And I just wanted it to have a fun and semi-Victorian aspect, and kind of a vintage vibe and a nature vibe. It's got all of those. So I have a little robin down here as well on this stamp. That's a washi sticker that I have. These are little rounds that got cut off when I was doing, oh gosh, what were those called? It was a telescopic kind of a journal card. It had butterflies. I did fairies at one time, and roses on another one. So it was different stuff. Here's just my call sign. Some Tim Holtz goodies are in here as well. This was from leftovers from me using it in the last journal. So as you can see, and then I cut this last 3 inches down to make a pocket for the front and the back, and that's just how I did it. Over here you have the upside down calendar part, and I made a vellum pocket because I had this piece of vellum that had been sitting over for a while. And these little circles, you'll see them all throughout here, I got 6 of them, were on the back of these sticker flowers from, I think, Hobby Lobby. And they were on the back to show you what was in the package. So don't ever throw your packages away, because you might have little decorations on them. Of course, I wanted to have the bug jars in this one as well. I just thought that was kind of a cool idea. I wanted to do it again. This was from Wonders by Wink on Etsy. I think it's walking through the forest, walking through the trees. It's some kind of digital she had, and it had a lot of the animals from her home state of Colorado. And these are some of those aspen trees, I think. And that's one of the well-known trees of the area. And this was like a background from also that same kit. I've also got like tea-dye papers and stuff in here. I've got some phone book. I just wanted to put a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Another one of those cutouts, another stamp. This was some other just paraphernalia that I had. I also put in some of my plant book, the perennials, and just kind of went with colors. These, I can't remember the name of these, but there's 3 different sizes that you can get, and they make a great journal card because they're ready to go. And you've got a little bit of this and that. There's so many different types. I have some die cuts in here. I just kind of opened up my little container up there and kind of pulled out all these different die cuts. This was from a Reader's Digest that Kyung or Ren had sent me. I can't get your name right, Ren. This is an envelope that I had. This was also from that same digital, the Be Free, and all those came from. This is actually some paper. I don't know if Celeste, you sent me this paper or what, but it was like this copy paper, feeder paper. Like I used to have it in the UPC office, and all my reports would come out on it. And these lines really help because I almost went blind looking at all that stuff. But it's a flip out, so you can write there and then flip it shut. I also have this here with a journal card inside with a pretty lady. And then I have a big pocket here, and I didn't fill a lot of these pockets. I've got little gewgaws all over the place just to decorate it up, give it some flair. But back here, there's 2 tuck spots, one on the top and one on the bottom. And another flower sheet. And I just get in here and I rip them out and I trim them down to where they're nice and flat on each end. And I put a piece of washi on both sides, and that's how I make them for the books. I cut down this piece of doily just so the pieces wouldn't stick out. And if you noticed, I put one piece back here at the top, and then I'll have another piece back here at the back on the top. Mom has these, the bleeding hearts. We have red ones, and then we have, she has a big thing of the white ones here. Now there's a wild version that's out down. It has to be a wooded area, and it always grows on these rocks, almost like a naked rock. So it loves that type of a surface. And I think they're called columbine when they're out in the wild like that, because they have a different look. They're almost like a little crown with 5 or 6 points on the top of them. All right, this was just a bunch of little thises and that's that I had, and I stuck it in there. This was shown to you on one of the videos where I showed you how I used these leftover circles that I cut out. Of course, I had to have some music paper in there. I love this font that these music notes are in. Here was an actual piece of, what was it? It was just some kind of ephemera that was out of one of the Tim Holtz packages. And it's a really shallow pocket. And then I put this down below it with a few other things. It's got like that kind of a tag there. And this has the butterflies on it. So, more Ren's papers. I think she's Kyung on Etsy. So, you probably see that name there. This is a little book that I've got that I keep pulling things out of because it's got these cool quotes here. Now, it's all about gardening, and there's a little bee on it too, which I thought was cute. Now the Lord had planted a garden in the east, in Eden, and there he put the man he had formed. Genesis 2:8. This is a little thicker filling paper. I don't understand why. It was one of those I did in the basement on a tablecloth. So it took the orangey color from the tablecloth because it was teal. Here's some yellow pages just to give some color. And it had this pretty rose bouquet there. So I thought that was perfect. This paper is from the same digital from Kyung on her Etsy, and it has something about the mulberry tree. And I've loved this background. That's also one of the backgrounds from that kit. I had a book on fish, angelfish. I was just putting a lot of animals in here. Now this is kind of different. This is 2 different pieces of a journal card ephemera that was put in one of the Tim Holtz cases. So I glued down the bingo card, and then I glued this one down this way and made it into a tuck. And I thought it kind of turned out kind of cool. And then I put a little, is it a damselfly? I think that's a damselfly. Piece of my wrinkle paper. And this is one of my mica sprayed papers. And I glued it down kind of like here. So it had enough room to tuck that little card in. See, I am still devoted to the garden, but although an old man, I'm but a young gardener. Thomas Jefferson. More angelfish. I think this is an opening. And I just left this as the center page because it had this spread that went across. So I said, okay, let me just do that. Another little cluster. Has little tickets on here. One of the cutouts from the back. Little pieces and parts that I had left over. Like I said, I was just using up a whole bunch of little thises and that's. This here is the same thing. It's lace. And as you can see, I had pieces from that leaf netting from the Dollar Tree. That was the leftover piece from that eyelet ribbon I had. I put some leftovers from a little pearl run. These were leftovers. That was a leftover. And I think that was it. But I just kind of glued them all down. Actually, that little piece is sticking up, but it don't matter. And I put that rise above on there. And I thought it was kind of pretty. Up here, you have another quote. One of the worst mistakes you can make as a gardener is to think you're in charge. Janet Gillespie. Another fish. And this Elizabeth and her German garden. Another cluster. Had a kitty and some little paraphernalia. I'd stamped this out a while back. I never used it. And yeah, you just kind of throw stuff together. That's all you have to do. And some more writing. I wanted it to be a nice journal somebody could just write in. Just a fun journal. Doesn't have to. This was scrap. I had these whale tails and I needed to use them. This was actually a little word card or title card out of something. An old book I had, paper pad. Here I did these 2 banners, and then I put that stamp there, and it really goes with this down here. And over here, I had these leftover letters, and I didn't really have that many vowels left. Give me a vowel. So I was able to write "Be Nice," and it's a belly band and a vellum scrappy kind of tuck. And that's all I did for that. And I kind of put that over here where you could see her. This is not a pocket. I could have made it that. Tommy, Paper Crafting with Miss Tommy, sent me all these butterflies. This was a rub-on from... I was keeping it for something, but I actually got the stamp now, so I didn't need to keep it. And just put that down there on the other side of that paper. I have a window, and I was trying to make it look like the cat was watching the bird, but I put the bird over here, and he should have been over here, but that's okay. It works. There's some of that grid die cut that Tommy sent me. And then this is the other part of the Keep Off the Grass, the Reader's Digest, and then it had something back here about the Greeks. This is like a little tuck that they could write on. Just another scrap, of course. As well as this piece. That was another scrap. Or all of it was, really. This is actually a piece of paint, what do you call it? Paint chip? Like a paint chip where you go into Walmart and you get like 3 or 4 colors on a strip. That's what that is. So if you need colors that you don't have, go into the paint department at Walmart or wherever and get you some. They're not going to say no. They order those. Those are free. And just cut you some stuff out of them. Kind of cool. And we're almost to the end. And I'd made this on one of my videos, and I decided just to put him in here. I'd said I was going to make him the front of a card, and I decided, nope, I'll just put him in here. And I put this Be Free. I was covering up the upside down birds off of this calendar, and I thought they looked odd, but I made it a pocket, so you can actually get in there. And then there's a pretty little bird on the back, pocket here, and then I just kind of put little gigas. I really liked how this turned out. It's about an inch wide, has plenty of pages to write in. I put a little bit of, you know, a gusset, I guess you would call it. I'm not sure what you'd call that. So that one's ready for the shop. Now this one, she mentioned something about recipes. I'm not getting them down there before Christmas, so they'll just have to go in afterward. I still haven't decided how I want to finish this. I may have to get a piece of elastic. I had thought to put a couple of dots in here and put strings on it to tie it shut, and then they could open this and write recipes if they wanted. I also wondered about making, maybe I'll glue the back one down on the top and the bottom, and it's a tuck as well for like something to tuck in there. I did stencil it, but I'm still debating what to do with it. So that's what, and then I had this that had something about handwriting there, but it had little recipes on it on this end, so I decided to use that as my cover. Now this is from a Jewel Design, and it's her Shabby Retro recipe book. She also has a page with Shabby Retro recipe words on it. And yeah, I really like that. I've used it for several different books. The colors speak to me because that's what I remember. I did a little stenciling. There's plenty of room for them to write their own recipes. Plus some of her, she had pockets, and then she has, this is supposed to be glued shut, but I thought, you know, why? That's so tiny to write on that I was just going to leave it for them to be able to write more of the recipes. And she had a few sayings in there. I had another set of little die cuts that were pieces from you know, from the kitchen. This one is a big recipe card. And then another small one. This was the weight scale. And I don't know why I've got Carol of the Bells in here, but I just wanted some music paper in it. This here is kind of just tucked in. It's another recipe card that could be written on. And then this is where they could tuck a big recipe up underneath of here. I just decided to put it down. It was like an index card, but I decided to put it down like it was a pocket. And then these were from, I made copies, but these were from an old recipe book that I had. And I wanted to put a few, you know, printed recipes in here. And I thought that would be interesting. Like this one's got fudge sauces on it. And then I put Do Not Ever Let Me Go and chocolate over here. And then hot chocolates up here. So it all kind of went together. And then I just had baking. And then this was a layout that I'd made that I put on my Rhoda's Junk page a while back. It was just a bunch of recipes, and I kind of inked the top so they all kind of stood out. And I just made like a double spread of that. This one's strawberries and cream and sour cream cheesecake. So they had a few printed ones in here. Oh, I got deer. Oh, that must be the babies. I saw something out the window, and that's my little deers that come to stay. Mama and her two babies. The babies are almost as big as she is now, though. And then this is a piece in the middle that's sort of like, just like an index card. And I put a few other die cuts on it, and it had some like in the print over there. And this is just the two pieces that came off the top or the bottom of this one. And I put them in here as pockets. And then there's one of the other big ones you can write in. And then You Bake Me Crazy. I tried not to put definite words for things in here like meat or desserts or things like that, so they could put whatever they wanted. Now, these I couldn't help, but, you know, I tried to have it where it was neutral, so they could start with like appetizers and or however they wanted to use this book. There's a big mixer. I just used a bunch of scrap. Another one of those big recipe cards. And this got cut off at the top, so I had to kind of scribble on there. But it was an old handmade or handwritten recipe that my mom had gotten, or her mother had gotten. I'm not sure who. But I put that on here. How to make perfect meringue. Another one of those pockets they could fill up with some index cards if they want. Another large recipe card. And pastries. It had a croissant roll or something, so I put pastries on that one. And then that's at the back. So that's all I had to do with that one. And like I said, I'm still not sure how I wanted to close it, but I probably will do it like I described. Gluing these two down, putting an eyelet here, and having a tower that could tie it shut. Because I'd like to have it where they could get in and out of it as easily as they could. All right. I really thank you for coming by. All my subscribers and viewers, I really appreciate you coming by, leaving a note, leaving some hearts, leaving a like, whatever you feel like you want to leave. And I really, really thank you for all your support this year. I'll try to get back with you after Christmas. I'll have to figure out what I need to do. Probably that antique journal I've been talking about. I think I would like to get it, work through, for the end of the year. And then January, I'm starting some prompts that I think Jody Lewis Creations, she's going to have on her page. So I have to see if she's going to pop them out earlier than, New Year, so I can get an idea of what I need to do. All right. Everybody have a great, great holiday, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.